Now, I want to start this video off by saying this is no hate towards WWE. This is more specifically about things that I think AEW does better than WWE. If you think that is hating on WWE, I am very sorry for you. You have lost the plot. This is just me thinking, hey, this is more exciting about AEW than WWE and something that they could maybe pick up on and learn from. One of those things being how they use their champions. Now, sure, Cody Rhodes is advertised and he recently lost the belt to John Cena, and John Cena is advertised, but they aren't wrestling. They're just there. They'll talk and they'll probably do a dark match, but not a TV match. Matter of fact, the last TV match Cody Rhodes had was February 7th. That's almost 3 months ago. And he was our champion. Now, he was a great champion. He did great things, but I would love to see him on TV wrestling, but we're not getting it. Gunther, on the other hand, was a little bit better, with his last TV match being on March 31st. That's pretty good, and he had a few more scattered in there, but they were all squash matches. They were all matches that he was gonna win. Like, there was no real competition. It was just Gunther and somebody he could easily beat up. It's not very exciting. The Jimmy Uso match was pretty exciting because it did look like Jimmy Uso was about to get the upper hand on him, but we all know that wasn't gonna happen. We all know that Gunther was gonna go into WrestleMania as champion, and they were going to use this match as some sort of story building line, and they did. They did, and they did a great job at it. But why hasn't he been given any competition anywhere on the main roster? His Intercontinental Championship reign is hailed as one of the greatest because he battled week in and week out to hold that title. He became the World Heavyweight Champion and pretty much just stopped fighting. He was wrestling people that he could know he could beat in easy squash matches. When he did wrestle on TV, usually he was just in his suit doing promos. And another huge one, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has had 3 matches this entire year, and they've all been on PLE. Now, I do understand there is some sort of health concern, and he is kind of, edging on the end of his career, but you could do 1 or 2, maybe. I would think that, building up to WrestleMania, we could have at least 1 or 2 matches, but we didn't get anything. Now, he would be involved in these long segments on TV and might end up in a fight, but that's about it for Roman Reigns. Now, if we go to AEW and just check out some of their top stars, starting with their champion, Jon Moxley. Love his title reign or hate it. Currently, I hate it, but he is featured on TV almost every single week. We are 17 weeks into the year, and he has wrestled on 11 of them. He has been present and wrestled on 11 of them. That does not include times where he showed up and was not wrestling, where he showed up and was just in the corner of the Death Riders or whoever. And then the other probably biggest draw to AEW, we go to Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay has had 16 matches in 17 weeks and is featured pretty much weekly. You can pretty much guarantee you're going to see Will Ospreay on TV for AEW at some point between Dynamite and Collision. That's awesome. People love to see Will Ospreay, and he is being seen. People love to see Cody Rhodes, but he's not being seen. People love to see Gunther. Trust me, I love seeing Gunther wrestle. We're not seeing it. John Cena is champion now. He is the champion. And I understand this is part of his character, that he's going to lower the work rate like crazy. He said he's only got 24 appearances now after appearing on Smackdown, but he hasn't had a TV match in over a year. I doubt we will get another one out of him. We'll just get long, drawn-out promos again. And that goes into my second point, that AEW's pacing is so much better. We get to actually see people wrestle. WWE has somehow made its way into this cinematic kind of slop almost, where they take 30 minutes of every single show, not NXT, and do some long, drawn-out, unnecessary promo. In this age of social media, there's a time and place for a long, drawn-out promo that can be posted literally anywhere. Instead, they're taking up a lot of TV time doing these promos. Now, AEW will have long, drawn-out promos, but they will be much shorter than a WWE one, and they still accomplish everything they want to get done. Just like I was watching Collision last Saturday, and they had promos, they had people talk, but they kept the momentum going. The people were excited, the crowd was excited, and they didn't let it die down. You start off a show, i.e. Monday Night Raw last week, with a 30-minute promo from John Cena that was boring. It was a good promo, but that's boring. You come to a wrestling show for excitement. I didn't want to see him talk for 30 minutes. Now, it ended pretty excitingly with the RKO from Randy Orton, but that was pretty much it for that. Just a whole 30 minutes leading up to an RKO. AEW does a fantastic job of pacing their show so you have time to be invested in each match while also getting things done on the promo side. They do a fantastic job. And you can see that in NXT. NXT works a lot like these AEW shows where they don't have a ton of long drawn out promos. They have kind of short bits in between each match, and the pacing flows pretty well all the way up to the end. I really enjoy watching NXT, not because the wrestlers are better than the main roster one, and some of them probably are, but because it's boom, 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 boom. The pacing is consistent, the show is good, and I don't ever feel like stopping watching it. The same thing goes for the weekly Dynamite shows and the weekly Collision shows. They might have little promo spurts here and there in between matches, but for the most part, their focus is on the matches. And I feel like WWE has turned their head to the matches and started focusing more on big picture stories. And they're losing the magic of the matches. The matches can do what these 30-minute promo segments could do without taking up so much time. You know, a lot of people look back fondly at the Attitude Era. I do as well, but you've got to admit the wrestling on it was not good. The matches were okay at best, but where WWE succeeded in the Attitude Era was consistency and letting the champions wrestle. You were almost guaranteed a Triple H or a Stone Cold match during that time. If either one of them had the championship, or The Rock, anybody who held the belt, you were almost guaranteed a match out of them at least once that week, sometimes twice. And the pacing was very good. You didn't have these long drawn out segments. You had maybe a 15-minute segment just setting up something for either later in the night or next week or at the next pay-per-view. Everything meant something, and we were moving and chugging along each way. And we would have exciting and fun matches in between. There's an art to having a short match, and I feel like WWE has lost that, and AEW does that well. You're not a squash match, but you send them out for 8 minutes. Let them do 8 minutes. Let them do whatever they need to do to get done. And they're exciting. They're fun. An 8-minute match could be the perfect length with two people who understand what they need to get done in 8 minutes. And I think WWE kind of stretches their matches a little too long. They're shortening their card by giving us these long cinematic matches when not every match has to be that. Not every match has a build that's worth a cinematic build. We look back at WrestleMania 40. That deserved a long cinematic build because that is a 2-year feud coming to an end, or a proverbial end. That deserves that long cinematic moment. A random match on Raw doesn't deserve 20 minutes. 15 maybe, 10 more likely, but we don't need every single match to be 20 minutes. And AEW structures that well. You get exciting matches within that 8 to 10 minute range, and then you'll get a short little promo clip while they set up for the next thing, and the next match continues. And it's fun, and it's engaging, and it's exciting. Now, you could get into AEW's booking decisions and all of that, and that's a video for another time. I'm pretty positive I'll do a video on the other flip side of this, but that's one of my big gripes with WWE, is they're not presenting their champions as fighters. They're presenting them as trophies almost. That they hold these champions, and you might be able to see them week to week, but you won't see them wrestle. You'll see them talk. They're pretty much just faces. I want a champion that fights. I want a champion that wrestles. These guys that you're putting up in the front on the posters and everything, all they do is talk. I want to see some people fight. If we look on the women's side of things, WWE does a little bit better job of letting the women wrestle, but AEW still outdoes them on that. Toni Storm is involved in something every single week. There's not a week on Dynamite or Collision that goes by without Toni Storm either being there, being mentioned, or being in a match. Now, I love Io Sky and I love Tiffany Stratton, but they are not working at the rate that Toni Storm is. But I believe that the WWE could sort of fix this. I wholeheartedly think that they could figure this out because they've done it before. I don't think it would be that hard to change a few things around and present your champions better. Granted, they would have to have John Cena lose. That's the real outlier in all this. John Cena won't have a TV match anytime soon, but Cody could have. Roman could be on a TV match. CM Punk is on TV matches. Why can't Roman? Seth Rollins is on TV matches. Why isn't Roman? I am very excited for the direction WWE is taking. And, I've recorded this this week, pre Monday Night Raw and SmackDown and NXT. I'm recording this on a Sunday, so go out sometime later on the week. I don't know what's happening this week, but last week was probably the best week of WWE in a while. Raw was incredible. NXT had someone killed. They're running a mafia over there and killed off one of the wrestlers. Crazy. SmackDown was incredibly good. This is probably the best SmackDown I've watched in a long time. Ever since they went to 3 hours, this is the best SmackDown they've had. And a lot of it had to do with that tables, ladders, and chairs match that should have been on WrestleMania, but I digress. The rest of the episode was also incredible. The return of Aleister Black, and then the return of Miro, or also known as Rusev now, on Raw. Axiom and Nathan Frazier get the call up to SmackDown. We're cooking now. Things are cooking, and I'm excited for the future. And I think if they could present their champions better and let their champions wrestle even every other week, they'd be in a lot better spot. You'd have a lot less people doubting them about what's going on. And I think AEW does that really, really well. You don't quite know what you're going to get, but you know who you're going to see, and you know who you're going to see is going to be good. And it's always fun. AEW is always fun. Like the booking decisions or not, it's still a fun show. And I will die on that hill as a diehard WWE fan. But that's going to be it for this video. If you have any comments or you disagree, let me know in the comments. Make sure to like this video and hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. We'll have another video coming out next week. We're back to making weekly videos, so I will see you next week.